Good morning, students. Yesterday, if you remember, we had started with modals. You gave perfect answers. Just going ahead with the same topic. Today again, I am going to take up a little different idea of different emotions. The first idea which I am taking up is advice, suggestion, obligation. Advice, suggestion, obligation. Advice, suggestion, obligation. What is the difference between the three words? Let's understand. Your friend can suggest you. Your teachers will advise you. Is it okay? Got the difference between advice and suggestion? Suggestion is just a kind of a advice which can be given by your friends, which can be given by your colleagues, it can even be given by seniors. But then when it comes to advice, it is something which is a relevant suggestion. Okay, that is what we call as advice coming from generally from a senior person. There is another word, obligation. Obligation means you are obliged to do it, karna hai. What we say in Hindi, karna hi hai. There is no other option. That is what we call as obligation. Now, when we have to express the idea of advice, suggestion, obligation, in English, we use two modals. The first one is should and the second is ought to. How will you describe or how will you decide, where are you going to use should and where are you going to use the word ought to? Both of them seem to be similar, but understand the difference between the word should and the word ought to. Should is generally advice or suggestion. Whenever you are giving an advice or a suggestion, you use the word should. You should study hard. You should come to school on time. You should come in school uniform. You should attend your English grammar classes. What am I doing? I am giving you an advice. I am giving you a suggestion. So, I am using the word should. We should help our parents at home. Okay, we will be taking up more sentences when we do in the class. So, what is should beta? It is giving advice or giving a suggestion. It can come from a friend, like your friend can simply tell you, you should come and play out in the evenings. A teacher can give you an advice, you should write neatly. Fine. Your friend can give you a suggestion saying, you should play cricket. You are a good player, you should play cricket. What is this? This is a suggestion. It may come through a teacher, like an advice. A teacher can tell you, you should try to write neatly. I hope it's very clear. Should means giving advice or giving a suggestion. Look at this word ought to. Ought to shows two things. First is your moral duty. Ought to shows your moral duty. This is something which is your duty. You ought to respect your parents. You ought to follow the traffic rules. Is it okay? This is your moral duty. And another thing which ought to shows is the right way of doing something. The right way of doing something. We ought to follow the traffic rules. What is this? This tells us that this is the correct way. This is the perfect way or this is the right way to do something. We ought to speak the truth. Now if I say we should speak truth, that's also correct. But if I say we ought to speak truth, what am I trying to tell you? I am trying to tell you that this is the correct way of doing something or this is the right way of doing something. Which is stronger? Should or ought to? Remember always that ought to is stronger than should. So if you want to express a stronger feeling, then use the word ought to. Okay? If you want to show a moral duty to a person, use the word ought to. You ought to respect your national flag. You ought to respect the Indian Constitution. Why do we use the word ought to over here? Because it's a moral duty. This is the right way of doing something. Otherwise, a normal advice or a suggestion can be taken as should. So, which one is stronger again? The ought to word is stronger compared to the word should. The second word, feeling or expression that I am taking up today with you is request. In request, we generally use four words. Will, would, can, could. Look here. Will, would, can, could. Will is what? Will is a polite request. Like, will you please open the window? What is this? This is a polite request. Will you please give me some water? What are you doing? You are making a request politely. So, what is the word you are using? Will. Supposing you want to tell somebody to open a window very politely, what will you say? Will you please open the window? So what is will beta? It is a polite request. Remember, put it in your mind. It should be a map in your mind. Will means what? It means a polite request. What is would? It is a request more polite than will. Normally you go and tell a teacher, ma'am, will you check my copy tomorrow? If you want to say it in a better way, if you want to make it more polite, you should say, ma'am, would you please check my copy tomorrow? So if you want to be more polite, use the word would. When I said which is stronger, should or ought to, I told you ought to is stronger than should. When we compare about being more polite, then remember would is going to be more polite than will. So think about the situations. Whenever a sentence is given to you, think about the situation. Whom is the sentence referring to? Whom are we talking about? Should we be very polite? So we should use the word would. Otherwise, if it's a simple polite request, you can use the word will. Moving on to can and could. Okay? Can is an informal request. Can is an informal request. Normally when you say can I come in, this is wrong. So can is what? You can use it with your friends. Like you can simply say, can you open the window? You will not say to your friend that would you please open the window. So if it's an informal request, what will you say? You will say, can you please open the window? Or simply you can say, can you open the window? So when you have to make an informal request, the word which is used is can. What is could now? It's a polite request when you're not sure whether it will be accepted or not. When you're not sure that whatever you're saying will be done or it may not be done, we use the word could. Now, you're sitting with a person who's an absolute stranger, you don't know whether he listened to you or not, then you'll tell him, could you open the window? Why are you using the word could? Because you're not sure whether your request will be accepted or it would not be accepted. Is it okay? A very fast revision. Will is a polite request. Would is a request which is more polite than will. Could is a can is an informal request. Could is a polite request when it is uncertain whether your request will be accepted or it will not be accepted. The third one is prohibition. What does the word prohibition mean? Prohibition word comes from the word prohibit, to stop. Okay? Prohibit means to stop somebody or someone to do something. So prohibition, we generally use two words, must not and ought not to. Be very careful. Must not and ought not to. See this, must not, that something should not be done because it's a rule. When you have to tell somebody that don't do this because this is a rule, you should use the word must not. You must not go out without wearing a helmet. Why are you using the word must not? Because it's a rule. You cannot go out without wearing a helmet. You must not go out without mask. What is it now? Why have I used the word must not? Again, because it's a rule. You must not come to school in dirty shoes. Why have we used the word must not? Because it's a rule. So, if you want to say something which should not be done because it's a rule, use the word must not. Come to this last one, ought not to. Ought not to means something should not be done because it's a moral duty. Why? Because there is no rule. Nobody is going to catch hold of you. According to law, there is no rule as such, no punishment as such for this. It is just that it is a moral duty. You ought not to speak lies. Clear? You ought not to pollute your country. You ought not to litter your surroundings. You ought not to hurt animals. What is this? This is a moral duty. It's not a rule, it's not a law, but it's a moral duty. So very fast, prohibition, two words we have, must not, ought not to. Must not, something should not be done because it's a rule. And ought not to, something should not be done because it's a moral duty. The last point for today is wish. If you want to put forward a wish, we use the word may. What does may mean? It expresses a wish. May you live long. May you have a bright future. May God bless you. What is this? These are all wishes. So whenever you have to express a wish, use the word may. May you study hard. May you be regular in your classes. May you attend the classes on time. What am I doing this? I am wishing all this for you. So what is the word I am using, children? I am using the word may. May all of you be present for the class. May you all be attentive in the class. May you all do your homework. Obviously, this is practically not done. You know it very well. But this is a wish. So what is the word that I am using? May. If I would have wanted to be a little strong by giving advice, I would have told you, you should do your homework. But if I want to make it stronger than should, and I want to tell you that this is your moral duty, then I would have used the word you ought not to do. You ought to do your homework. If I have to request you, I'll say, will you please do your homework? If I have to be more polite, I'll say, would you please do your homework? If I have to make an informal request to you, I'll say, can you do your homework now? Good. This is when I'm not sure. You're going out to play. I don't know whether you do or you won't do. What will we say? Could you please do your homework? Must not. You must not waste your time. Why? Because this sentence must not waste your time is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because wasting time is not punishable by law. So, ought not to is something which is a moral duty. So, I'll say you ought not to waste your time. And the last one is whenever you want to express a wish, use the word may.